Hi, my name is Stacey-Ann Ali and I'm a lecturer at Aichi University in Toyohashi. I teach Communication English to first-year students and Practical English to second-year students. In the first semester of the Practical English class, we focus on presentation skills. Students learn how to give presentations with a proper introduction, the middle of the presentation consisting of details, background information about their topics, and a proper conclusion, reiterating the points covered in the presentation. After the presentation, the audience has a chance to ask them questions, which is very good practice. These presentations are done in small groups. As an introduction to gender issues, students were shown two pictures of a man and a woman. First, they were asked to assign each of them colors, then professional jobs, then jobs in the house. Students then had to make lists, explain and justify why they gave these people the colors, professional jobs, and domestic chores that they did. These are some examples of what the lists look like. The colors chosen to represent the man were very strong, bold colors such as black, business-oriented colors such as blue. Whereas for the woman, a lot of the colors were softer, more feminine. The colors chosen for the woman represented femininity, the woman being pure, innocent, being gentle. The justification for choosing these colors to represent the man was that they represent strength and stability. Men have always had to be strong and provide for their families. Men are expected to be in positions of power, are expected to be more successful than women. We see this very much so in all aspects of Japanese society, from politics to schools to companies. Some of the groups chose very strong jobs that had women in positions of power. For example, doctor, lawyer, president of a company. But a majority of the students did have very domestically related jobs for women, such as office worker, housewife, maid, cleaner, clerk, receptionist. All of these jobs reflect women in a very subordinate position. A lot of the jobs that were associated with the man were police officer, doctor, lawyer, CEO, businessman. All of these jobs represent the man in positions of dominance and power, and him having a very high status in society. The justification for choosing these colors for each of the genders were that the man has to be strong. He has to be in a more dominant position, whereas the woman should be in a more subordinate secondary position to the man, so she doesn't need to have such strong colors. Students associated women with professions that are nurturing, reflecting her role as a mother. Now, it was really interesting to see the students' perspective on who should have certain household chores. The lists look like this. Now, with the domestic jobs, we see a little bit more balance in terms of what the students' perspectives were on how the housework should be divided. But there were some groups that thought that the man works too hard and he should just drink beer. And this again was influenced by what they see at home or what they've grown up with. A lot of the groups did say that raising children and taking care of them were both responsibilities of the man and the woman. The justification for assigning these household chores to the men and women was that this is what they've seen at home. A majority of the students did say that the household chores between men and women should be divided because they both live in the house, they both eat the same food, so it should be a balance. The assignment was to create a presentation, either using PowerPoint or a poster, in groups of 5 to 6 and 6 to 8 minutes in length. Students were asked to identify the issue they were talking about and explain it in detail, looking at the positive and negative aspects. They were asked to explain their feelings about this issue. They were asked to find examples in the media, in society, and from personal experience. Each member of the group had to reflect and think about how this experience has influenced their current decisions and how it might influence their future decisions. Students were also asked if they could change this, and they had to try and think about ways in which they could. These are what some of the presentations look like. Students explored a variety of gender issues within the topic stereotypes, and it was good to see such variety and such in-depth research done on the students' part. This group felt that gender issues start in elementary school, with being told that red backpacks were for little girls and black backpacks for little boys. The personal connection was that this girl wanted a blue backpack, but she was constantly told by her mother that little girls don't use black. This group used a popular TV commercial from YouTube as an example. This group looked at gender inequality in Japanese society. They gave examples from a male perspective. Some examples were, why are men obligated to pay for dates? Give up their seats on the train? Why do women have special discounts such as ladies' price at movies and men don't? They found it unfair and suggested that men should have special discounts on a regular basis. This group suggested to use the Japanese tale Momotaro to educate children on gender roles. In Momotaro, the woman stays at home to work, whereas the man goes outside to work. In modern Japan, many women work outside the home. Children should learn this from an early age. This group presented a guide on what men can do to help out in the house and the workplace. This illustrated guide was full of benefits for both the man and the woman. It was good to see the creativity that went into presenting about gender issues. All of the groups had a different perspective, so there was no repetition. In conclusion, I think that students have had more experience with gender and gender-related issues than we think. This is not necessarily a bad thing. I think it makes them more aware and more sensitive to it. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. And thank you for listening.